Roger. This is the Family Showdown! Howdy folks, welcome to our top 10 games of 2015. We're getting on to halfway through the year. I think it's about time to look back at all the games we played that were published last year.
Yes.
There's a few games we're still yet to play. More on those later.
Alright.
You want to start us off?
I can start us off. My number 10 is Flick 'em Up. And our family seems to really enjoy dexterity games, and this one is a hoot. It is a Western theme. The wooden pieces are super solid, awesome. And I heard, if you think the price point is too high, that they have a plastic version that they're either going to be coming out with, or did come out with, that's going to be a lower price point. But if you can get the wooden set, it's amazing. It's really fun. They've got a whole book full of different scenarios for you to do. So you can go and be the outlaws and the law, and you fight it out and shoot them up in the Old West. It's pretty fun. So check it out.
Yeah, I like that one. I wish I was better at it. I don't know what it is about that game. I'm usually fairly good at dexterity games, but that game throws me for a loop. But it is a blast. It's funny. You have shootouts and duels, and
you're running into buildings, running into things, and
it's a really fun game. I enjoy it. All right, so my number 10 is Stockpile. It's a game that we just played at BGG Con Spring. I also played it at another convention and with some friends on a camping trip as well. So I really enjoyed that game. It's a very lightweight stock market game that has a lot of hidden information and kind of guessing what your opponents are going to do kind of thing. And I love the auction mechanism in it. You go to a spot, and if someone outbids you, you get bumped, and then you have to go to either outbid them or go to a different place to bid, which is a really cool bidding mechanism.
I really enjoyed that. In fact, I'm putting that in my honorable mention because I've only played it once, so I really don't like to talk about the game too much. But as far as liking the game, I actually really liked it a lot. I put it up there with Airlines Europe and Power Grid, where you've got kind of a mathy, thinky game that normally isn't my shtick, but it's really fun. It's really cool, and you really have to kind of sit there and think about outwitting each other, and very cool.
Yep.
Good pick.
Thanks.
My number 9 is New York 1901. And that one is really fun too. I love the different pieces that you're trying to Tetris into your map. And you get, at the beginning of the game, you figure out that there's some streets that give you extra bonus points and things. So you're going to try to beat everybody else to build your buildings in those areas where you're going to get the extra points, and just the battle of the space and trying to manage it all. I really enjoy that game.
Yep, that's a good one. It didn't make my list. It's just off the list. It's on my honorable mentions. I think all our honorable mentions will probably hit both our lists.
Cover each other, yeah.
But yeah, I really like that one. That one's just a really light, like you said, worker placement, and it has some Tetris in your pieces, like you said. It's really lightweight, and you can kind of crank it up. There's like some just a little bit of extra stuff you can add to it to make it a little more difficult. I like that one. So my number 9. Number 9. My number 9 is Mysterium. It's a great mashup, as everyone describes it, as a mashup of like Clue and Dixit. So you're basically giving, you have a ghost player who kind of runs the game and has all the information, and he's working with everyone else trying to give them clues to figure out the scene and the weapon, scene, weapon, and person, right, of the murder. And you have to give
just like Clue.
Yeah, just like Clue. And you have to only clues you can give them is just picture cards, and so they got to look at the card that you give them, and you have to kind of figure out from there what you're trying to tell them. So it's a great co-op game.
Yeah, that just did not quite make my list, but the artwork in that is crazy good, and it's not as trippy as Dixit. When we say that, though, it's just the pictures have a lot in them, a lot of little details and things that you can use as your clues, which is what's so fun about that one. So very good one.
Thanks.
All right, my number 8 is Mission Red Planet. I love the spacey sci-fi theme to it because they laid it on thick, and it's wonderful. And just the components, the way the game looks, the way the game plays. It's a really smooth little game. It's really fun. The fighting for control And I don't know. I usually am not as crazy about the area of control games, but I really like the way that one goes because you get different perks depending on where you land and things, and I really like that.
Maybe more on that later.
To be continued.
To be continued.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Artifacts Inc., a great dice placement game where you're using your dice to go out and purchase cards and get more cards in your tableau, and you get artifacts and you sell them to museums. It's just a really kind of a light dice placement game. I really enjoyed it. It comes in a little tiny box, but when you play it, it spreads out all over the table, and it's a really fun game that we got introduced to by the Dice Tower guys, Lee and Sam, which was kind of probably bumped it up my list.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
bit.
can I attach all the fun game memories and stuff with it?
Right.
Games have a lot of weight for me on my top 10s because of stuff like that too.
Yep. So that's it. Artifacts
Totally
Inc.
understand. All right, my number 7, thinking of things with cool themes and stuff, is Elysium. And of course, I like the whole Greek-Roman mythology and all that, so the theme plays near and dear to me. I really love how they set it up, from the box design and how they store it to how it plays. Everything's laid out really well, and it plays. I just love the unique gameplay with that. And you've got the different colored columns, and you use that to kind of do bidding for your cards. But you've got 2 levels of where you store your cards once you obtain them, and what you can do with them when and the game scoring. It just, there's so much going on in that game. You almost wish it would go longer, just so you could accomplish so much more with it. There's a lot of game in that, so that's a really fun one. Elysium is that one. So your number 7.
My number 7. My number 7 is Mission Red Planet.
Why fancy that?
I really enjoyed this game. I like what I like about it is it's got the, if you're familiar with Citadels, it's that you pick a role. It's a hidden pick role,
It's
and
so funny.
and everybody kind of reveals, and we see what happens, and things could go off earlier and mess you up, and it's kind of the hidden role, kind of hidden selection mixed with area control. Also mixed with hidden information, because you have those cards that
the bonus cards
that you put
Those are
around the
cool.
edge of the board, and,
Yeah.
and at the end of the game they fire off, and different things happen in different places, and only some of the people know what's going to happen at the end. They can do some weird stuff like the person with the lowest wins instead of the highest.
Yeah, those are
Or
funny.
anyone, if there's a tie, then the third person wins, and all kinds of weird things. Or the artifact, the resources you get there are worth less, and just all kinds of weird stuff can fire off. So that one's got a lot of things going for it. The 2-player variant's kind of a little wonky because you play 2 players, and that kind of probably pushed it a little bit down the list. But I like it, and I think I like it better than she does in terms of.
Yeah, because the 2-player thing kind of throws me because I'm kind of on it, but the multiplayer is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yep,
really fun
definitely.
one. So, and this one, my number 6, I suspect is probably higher up on Hunter's list, but that is Blood Rage.
Blood Rage.
Yes, I suspect as you get better, you're going to paint those minis. I hope, right?
I
That would be so cool.
hope I get good enough to paint those guys.
The miniatures in that game are ridiculous. I'm not usually one to geek out over the miniatures so much, but that game's got some really cool ones, and the gameplay is just, it's elegant. I don't know a better word for that game. It just, everything runs smoothly, it flows logically. Once you learn the rules, it's not difficult to pick that game back up. Oh yeah, I remember how to do this now, because it's just, everything's so intuitive, and it's just a really fun game, combining the area control and duking it out for things, and just, I just really enjoy that game a lot. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It goes quicker, it goes much more quickly than you think too. It goes pretty quickly.
Yeah, it looks like a really heavy game, but when you play it, it's really simple.
Yeah,
it doesn't, and it goes
I think it's
quickly.
right.
It just, when you see it, if you were just walk by and see it on the tub, you're gonna go, "Wow, that's a massive game. It's gonna take 5 hours to play, and humongous miniatures and all of this complexity."
Yeah.
But it is a real simple, I think, easy to learn game, and it doesn't take that long to play.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of things you can add to it, and extra things and perks and all this, but you don't have to. The base game is awesome.
Yep.
You can do just that and pick it up, and yeah, don't be intimidated by it. It looks intimidating, but it plays so well and so easily, and I think that's one of the main appeals. So.
Much more later.
Interesting.
So what number am I on?
Number 6.
Number 6 has already been mentioned. Elysium. I really enjoy this game. I like the whole card drafting and the angst of, because as you draft cards, you have to keep limiting yourself more and more and more on what cards that you can draft, because you have, like she said, the pillars, the 4 different colors, and each time you draft, you take one away. So that reduces the combination that you have to buy things. I really like the thinkiness of, okay, if I take this,
Yeah.
then she might take that, so I need to keep this column for that. And it's really, there's a
Well, plus you also want to keep your pillars because you pick who gets what perks at the end of your turn, like how many people you can send down to the lower levels
Right.
to get your game scoring, and so you got to keep them for so many different things. And then there's also with the end game scoring, and there's the family of the gods. So if you get all of Hermes' family, you get a certain number of those, you get points. And so there's just so much in that game.
there's a lot
It's
of
pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of. It's a heavy game hidden in a lightweight game. I
Kinda,
don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
to
because
it.
it's not really super complicated, but there's a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of planning ahead and thinking about what you need and what your opponent. You really have to watch what your opponent's going to want
Yes.
so that you can decide what you're going to do. I really like.
Yeah,
that.
it's an interactive game that's not entirely interactive.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, but it is because you watch a lot.
All right.
So my number 5 is Seven Wonders Duel, which if you watch any of our other stuff probably comes as no surprise because I really love Seven Wonders. But we don't always get to play it very often because we really aren't that crazy about the 2-player variant with that. And Seven Wonders Duel fixed that for us basically. I mean, it's a slightly different game, but it's still Seven Wonders, and it just plays really well. It's really fun. You have to watch. In fact, we did a live play of that recently, and that was one of the first times we really had to watch the balance of science and military and everything else. We tried those few different tactics on each other when we were playing, and it was really fun. You really do have to pay attention to that and not let somebody get ahead on anything because they can start running away with it.
Yeah.
So, it's fun.
Yeah. One of the first few times we played it, it seemed like the military and science was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
There's no chance you're going to be able to get those. But like you said, we just played it recently. I was 1 coin away from a military victory, and she was 1 card away from science victory. So it was like either one of us, just if things would have just been slightly different, we would have won through those methods.
That was fun. Yeah, it's a great game, and it seems like it's a little bit different each time because of how things play out. So I like that one.
All right, number 5, right?
Hey, yes.
5. Look at that. I'm learning. My number 5 is D&D Dice Masters.
Of course.
Dice Masters had to be on this list, right? D&D is Dice Masters is my favorite version of Dice Masters, and it's been in so many top 10s. I don't feel like I need to harp on it, but I'll talk about it anyway. It's just it's just like Magic. It's like a Magic the Gathering game with dice. You recruit guys. Well, I guess more like Dominion, but you recruit guys, and you build a dice pool, and you randomly guys out, and you throw them and see what happens. And it's just a quick little dice chucking game. It takes maybe 10 minutes to play, something like that. Well, unless you really go to super defensive, then it might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what you pick and if you played it more.
I just like the whole dice drafting and building a dice pool and pulling things out. You always, every time you reach in the bag to pull out your dice, it's like, oh, what did I get? Did I get some cool stuff? I mean, it's funny. I like it, that aspect of the
I'm
game.
not as huge a dice nut, so that was like my number 11.
Okay.
I love that game. I really like the characters and the creatures they picked for that one. That's probably my favorite out of all of them. Because normally I geek out over Marvel and all that stuff, but just the way they did the D&D one's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
check that one out. That's a good one. Number 4, again, probably not a surprise to anybody, is Dominion Adventures. I love Dominion. I love to play over and over and play different card combos and try stuff like that out. I don't know, I always get a kick out of that. And Dominion Adventures did a really good job of that, and it was fresh and new, and it's a little more interactive between the players, so it was really fun to have a game that I know that you're going to want to replay several times now with me, because you don't always like to play Dominion over and over, but the Adventures, you said you liked that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I liked the whole aspect where you have the what they call it, the tavern or whatever it's called, where you put the card.
Oh yeah, we haven't done a whole lot with that one yet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So I like that one, and they added the not provinces. What's beyond that now? We have colonies. The colonies and the, you know what I'm talking about, the extra points.
No, I think you're thinking about Dominion Prosperity. Dominion Adventures is the one with the tavern off to the side.
Oh, I have that backwards. Well, I like that one too a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
I have that backwards.
Yeah, Prosperity is the older one. Dominion Adventures is the new,
Yeah,
new
bummer,
one.
I got that backwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the tavern.
Yeah, where
okay.
you have that little card to the side and you can like store up a card and it comes out eventually and.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to. But no, I still love them.
All right.
I still love my Dominions.
Yep. Okay. So my number 4.
Yes, you're number 4.
My number 4 is The Voyages of Marco Polo. Another dice placement game where you roll dice and put them on the board and you get resources and for victory points. It's a fun little game. There's a lot going on with it. You have to build resources to eventually fulfill contracts that gives you victory points and other bonuses. And then there's a whole other aspect of the game of voyaging across the board and setting up trading houses in various cities, and those give you either give you another place where you can put guys, or you get like bonuses that happen every turn, all sorts of things. And you have some hidden cards where it shows you which cities you need to visit, and you get bonuses that way. So there's a lot of different things going on with that game, and I like the character powers in that are really cool because they're all they're all like really super powerful, but everyone has a super powerful power. So it's kind of cool to have something that no one else has that's really powerful that changes the game.
Yeah, that game. I'm like, I love that game, but at the same time, it makes me so angsty because I always feel like the game ends too soon for me. I guess I have a slow engine build in that game because just when I feel like I'm hitting my stride, the game's over.
Yeah,
so
that
it
one
goes so quickly.
Yeah,
But it's really fun. I mean,
yeah, I agree with that. It really feels like you need a little more time to play that game, but I like the
I got to
whole.
deploy.
I think one.
That's what they
Well, I think
planned
one of
all
the. I
along.
think one of the appeals, at least for me, for worker placement is that you can't do everything. You have to really decide.
Yeah.
Okay, do I want to do this or do I want to do this? I only have enough to do one or the other. I don't have enough to do everything. But,
True.
But
That one seems to have a lot more of that than the other worker placements
that one's
I like it.
You seem like you're really struggling to do everything you want in that game, but I love it.
Yeah, that's fun. It's
Yep.
fun, the resources and all that. All right, my number 3 is Automania, and oh my goodness, I love that game.
Yes,
So,
really do love that game.
yeah, it's a nice, quick. It feels like it goes quickly to me. The Euro, and it's pretty light, so it's easy to pick up. And if you haven't played a lot of Euros, this would be a great, I think, like an example of how to play a nice smooth Euro game, because it's fun. You're an automobile factory and you're pumping out cars and you're deciding whether you're going to ship them over to the U.S. or is it Europe? I think is it the
European
US?
market.
Yeah, and so depending on which way you go with that, you get either more victory points or more money, and there's different perks you can add to your car and things, safety features and stuff like that. And so you're trying to figure out, you want to balance it out. Do I want to buy that? And you can get managers and things that give you extra bonuses and victory points, obviously, because that's what you're going for. And it's just, I don't know, it's a really smooth, fun game. It's real light, and there's a little bit of variety and replayability with that too, because it has some superpowers and stuff if you want to trick it up a little bit.
Yeah, you have your own little car
So-
company that has a special power.
Which is fun. We played with those recently, and that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's a really light game, light worker placement game. I mean, that's a good introductory worker placement game, and it has some things going for it. Where there's a lot of games that seem to be coming out lately that have the rows and columns thing, where you put a worker and you get to buy something in that column or that row. And there's a lot of games coming out like that lately that seem to have that. I mean, it's been that mechanism has been around for ages, but it seems like there's a lot of really popular games that lately that had that mechanism.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun. So, your number 3.
My number 3 is Champions of Midgard. Do you like dice rolling? Do you like combat? Do you like worker placement? Well, this game has all 3. So yeah, I really love this game. It's a mashup of worker placement and dice combat. It has everything I want in a game. You go out and you gather resources to build up troops, and the troops are actually your dice. And you go and fight monsters and undead and trolls and things. And when you fight, you roll the dice, and your workers, depending on what side they land on, do damage or maybe block damage or do nothing. I guess they're taking a nap, but it's a great little worker placement dice chucking game that I just really enjoy.
Yeah. That one, I like that game, but that game does not necessarily like me back. The dice hate me in that game, and I don't know why. So
The dice didn't hate you as bad the last time we
That's
played.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
I have to give it some more chances. But no, honestly, it's a great game. It's really fun, and I like the fact that you can go and choose. Do I want to go and try to go after the really big monsters and go on this big, ship? You have to go on their ship and go on your voyage and all of this, or do you want to basically stay in the countryside and fight the local monsters and
right.
possibly get a lot less points and things? So there's a lot of balancing act going on in that game,
Right.
which that aspect of it I just love.
Yeah.
So it's a very good one.
Yep, I like it. Then there's a lot of other things going on for it. There's like you can buy cards that give you superpowers, and there's
those are cool. They have a
Yeah.
lot of really neat
and
powers in that
there's
game.
hidden bonuses that you have at the end of the game that
Mhm.
people don't know, what you're working towards and things like that. So I like it. It's got a lot going for it.
Very cool. Alrighty. My number 2, apparently I like it a lot more than you, is Artifacts Inc. And yeah, part of it is the game memory. It's been really fun. I really enjoy the fact, too, that this is one of those games that we have a really fun time playing at 2-player. We had a blast playing at 4-player. It plays really well no matter what count it is.
Yep.
The balance stays really good with it. And I really like that you can go after the different types of artifacts, of course, and get different points and different things from that, and just the options that are on the board, and you buy it, and of course it refills, so you can get different perks and things trying to go towards different things, and you can kind of spread out your spread the love, and go try to go
Right.
do the buried treasure and stuff like that. But you can
Right.
get bonuses to keep doing that, and that brings so many points in, but you're abandoning other things.
Right.
So, and there's a tiny bit of an area control in that too, when you're
Right.
in museums,
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
when you're selling.
Yep.
So there's a little mini battle going on in each of the museums too that you can't ignore, or someone's going to run away with a lot of points at the end of the game. So
Right.
it's pretty fun to do that. It's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I like it. It's really light. It's really casual. It's just you roll your dice, you take your turn, and then it's the next person's turn. It's not too competitive. I mean, there is obviously some competition when you're, like
Yeah,
you
but
said,
it's not
like you
in
said,
your face.
like in the museums, you're trying to go and try to get the majority in the museums. But it's really a light, casual, easygoing game.
Mm-hmm. Very fun.
All right, 2 for me.
2.
My number 2 is Through the Ages: A New Story of Civilization. I saw you did make eyes at the camera there. An amazing civilization building game that we were really, really hesitant to get any of these games because we're just worried that they would kind of not
Yeah.
live up to the hype or fall flat or be too not worth the time, because a lot of these games can be 3, 4, 5 hours, and this is a longer game but not too long, and I just really love it. Seems like every time we play it, you end up doing something completely different. There's many different ways you can go about this game. You can build up your food production, you can build up resources, you can go for all the urban cities, you can do all kinds of different ways. You can build up your military and try to get colonies, and there's just a lot to this game. It's a very heavy, meaty game that I just really enjoy every time we play it.
Yeah. In fact, I like it so much. It is my number 1.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. We don't get the chance to play super heavy games very often because of the time frame and stuff. So like you said, we were kind of hesitant on that. But this one is so worth pulling out and playing because it's a different game every time, because the cards are shuffled and they're cycled through pretty quickly as you play.
Right.
So, and there's different world leaders, and they're all, based on their position in history. So as you're going through the first age, you're going to get the ancient Greeks and, things like that. And then we get to the modern era, you're going to see, modern presidents and world leaders and different things. And they all have different perks that help you, which you might want to get specifically to gear towards, getting all of those victory points, because goodness, there's so many different ways that you can do it, but you have to be careful because at the same time there's the balance.
Right.
You still have to watch and make sure your citizens are happy, which is balanced based off of population and this and that. I mean, it's amazing. There's no way to just describe that game in a couple of minutes because it's very, very in-depth. At least for us. I don't know, that's probably one of our heaviest. Is that our heaviest game? Probably our heaviest game.
Yeah, probably. And the way, if I had to describe it, I would say it's a civilization game and take away the map.
Yeah.
You do everything else except for the moving troops around the board.
Yeah.
You build up from nothing into this big sprawling civilization with all these arts and science and all these urban buildings and all this. You build up your food production. It's just an amazing game, and I wish we would play it more. But we've gotten to where we can get it into about 2 hours now. So that's
Crack it out, yeah.
which is pretty good for us. But
Well, and the other thing that's neat too is you can make it, I guess you'd say more Euro.
Yeah.
You can do a military, like I don't want to say non-military variant, but it puts the military kind of on the back burner. You're still focusing on it and you still do things with it, but you're not necessarily openly attacking each other. And you can set it up to do that. There's a couple different variants in that. And it's really cool that you can pick and choose that, because we ended up, as much as we were working to build stuff, we weren't so crazy about destroying things that each other had built. So we tried the non-military variant and really enjoyed that.
Well, and it speeds up the game a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't have to resolve wars and things like that.
Yeah, that's true too.
Which speeds it up a little bit. But the military still has a place, right? The colonies in that game are so
Oh,
valuable.
that's cool, yeah.
And the military is used for those. So yeah, through the ages, that I've done a lot of research on these games, and that seems to be by far the best one. And the new version that just came out last year is supposedly even better. It's streamlined and has better. It's not as some of the pieces are a little better and things like that. So it's supposed to be a better version of the game. So I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, obviously I do too. So what's your number one then?
You don't know what my number one is? Blood Rage! This game is amazing.
It's pretty cool.
I really don't have to say more than that, but I will. You take the aspects of a Euro game and aspects of an Ameritrash game, merge them in, have the perfect child, and that is Blood Rage.
Oh, yes.
The game has drafting and action selection and things like that you see in a normal Euro game.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has a map and big clunky miniatures, and you just beat each other up, and
And the end of the world is nigh.
the end of the world is happening. You can gain points for your troops dying. I mean, it's just, and the miniatures in this, we'll flash a picture up somewhere here down at the bottom, and the miniatures are amazing in this game. They're just off the charts amazing.
Yeah.
And we haven't even worked our way through all the Kickstarter stuff, the expansions and things like them. I think we've played with the Mystics, but we haven't even played with the Gods yet.
That's true. We
So
haven't. Wow.
so the base
game's awesome.
Like she said, the base game is just phenomenal. You really don't need anything
You don't need
beyond
to go
that.
crazy.
But it's an amazing game. I even like the combat. The combat's the card selection combat, the hidden card
That is
combat.
really fun. And I'm not usually as crazy about that stuff, and I love it in that game.
I mean, there is it takes the. I love dice, but sometimes it's kind of sad when you roll a die and you just have bad luck and you just don't win a combat. But in this, when you're drafting, you can go, okay, I'm going to be doing some combat this turn. I need to draft some combat cards, and it's just really there's just so much going on with this game. It's just so I can't.
I guess what's great about that is there's so much going on, but again, it's easy to figure out how to play that game.
It's just super simple,
that just still kind of baffles me. It's like, I don't know what you have to do to work out a game like that, but it just balances out so nicely.
Yeah, it's a really, it feels like I said, it feels like a heavy game, but you can teach it in not very much time at all, because it's really simple action selection and card drafting. Which if anyone's card drafted and knows about action selection, it's just quick. Yeah. And the combats resolve really fast, because everyone that's in the combat flip over a card and resolve the cards, and you add up, and your troops have points, and whoever has the highest number wins. It's a really great game, and it's another one of those that have some hidden goals and things like that people don't know about. The little quest cards are hidden until the end of the age, and you reveal them.
And surprised with your scoring.
Another thing I like about the game is that you can be behind early, and you're like, oh, there's just no way. Which I thought my first couple of games.
Every time.
It was like, I am just being trounced. There's no way. And then at the end of the game, I win. I'm like, how did that happen? It's really.
Yeah, how did that happen? Every time I get all excited, I'm like, yeah, winning the first third of the game.
Yeah, but that game, it's just a blast to play, and like I said during her part, if you walk by and saw us on a table, you're like, oh, that's an epic 5-hour miniature game.
Nope.
And it is just it's quick.
What is it?
Fun.
An hour?
hour and a half. It depends on the number of players, but
That's
yeah,
true. That's
yeah.
true. We play 2-player most of the time lately, so
And it's just anyway amazing.
obviously it's his number one.
Play
for a
Blood
reason.
Rage. Get Blood Rage. Play Blood Rage. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So you got any honorable mentions that didn't get honorably mentioned by someone else?
Well, we already mentioned, that we haven't played the Pandemic Legacy or Time Stories yet, which are
Well,
two
we
that I
didn't
think-
mention it. You just put the spoiler. That's why I mentioned at the first of the show. We haven't played the two big
Oh, yeah,
ones from
yeah.
last year. We haven't played Pandemic Legacy, and we haven't played Time Stories.
Yeah, we did play Code Names. What was the other one? And Blood Rage.
Blood
Those were
Rage.
like, I think, the 4 big ones that we were like, oh, we don't know about yet.
Yeah. And Time Stories, we have a scheduled playing of Time Stories coming up. What, next month or is this month? Sometime in the next
Sometime
month.
in the summer.
Yeah,
Summer
so-
2016.
We got that one planned. We're gonna knock that one out and play that. So we really didn't want to play it 2-player, so we kind of had to figure out a way to get a 4-player of that done, and we're gonna knock that out. And Pandemic Legacy, when it comes back in stock, we're gonna.
Oh man, is it out of stock
I'm
again?
gonna push the buy button, and we're gonna play that one 2-player. Just us two.
Oh, sweet.
We're just
Yay.
gonna rock it out 2-player. So. Anyway, not to interrupt. Back to your.
Oh no,
honorable
it's
mentions.
good. So I just burst your bubble on that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other one that I could think of was the Sock Pile because I really enjoyed that game a lot. It really I put that with Airlines Europe and the Power Grid.
Power Grid. Yeah.
For a reason, because I get that feel from it, the balancing of watching what the other people are doing. So you got to figure out what you're going to do because you're like, oh, he just sold a whole bunch of stock. Does that mean that something's going to tank that he knows about? And
Right.
chances are, yeah, probably. So you want to get rid of that stuff too, or do you want to, I really enjoyed the balance of that, and I'm not typically a heavy mathy person on that one, but I really enjoyed that, and I could see playing that a lot more.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's quick too.
yeah.
So
it's a really great.
just 2015 was a really solid year
Yeah,
for
it's amazing
games.
year.
I mean, honestly, this was probably one of the hardest lists I've made. Was narrowing this down to 10, as you heard. I mean, I was throwing out 11s and 12s, and I easily had 20 on my list, and
There's a couple that weren't mentioned yet that I want to mention. One is XCOM. I played that at BGG Con Fall last year, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really fun experience, and we won
well, congrats.
on easy level. But we
So-
won, but I only played it once, and I'm really hesitant to put games on the list that I've only
Yeah.
played one time. So that one would probably be middle of the road somewhere
Wow.
if I played it a little bit more. I really enjoyed it. I like the tension of it, and it just seems like you're really in the game, and there's like time crunch, and it's just really exciting, and it's like tension, and you resolve everything that happens, and tension, and resolve everything.
So
that
is it
happens.
like on a time?
Yeah, if you play it with
like
you play it with a
Oh.
iPhone, an app. It's an app you run,
Oh, okay.
and it's a timer, and basically you have so much time. For each person has a station that they control, and they have so much time to do their stuff. And if they run out of time, then bad things happen at the end. If you use too much time, the aliens are more powerful, and things happen. The app keeps track of how much time you have, and if you waste too much time, you have less time to resolve things between the players and stuff like that. It's just
Gotcha.
really, and everyone's role is extremely important in the game. It's not like you have a fiddly, non-important role. Everyone's really have an important role. It's really,
Oh, that sounds cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a game I'd like to.
it's a really fun game. Like I said, I only played it that one time, and it was a blast. And the other one I'd want to mention that didn't make my list is Treasure Hunter.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's a great little game from Queen. That's a really light introductory drafting game. It has a cool mechanism where there's treasures out, and you want to have the most of a color or the least of a color, and you don't want to be middle of the road. So it's kind of interesting because if you want the one the one that has the lowest number, then you got to really pay attention to what everyone's drafting and try to get the low number. If you want the high, you got to grab up all the cards of that color. But if you spend too much time worrying about one color, then you neglect the other color. So it's just a really light, family-friendly drafting game.
Yeah, and that was really fun, but I've only played that once, so I couldn't really put that one anywhere either. But yeah, that one's definitely got a replayability to it too, so that's pretty fun.
So there you have it. 2015, like you said, an amazing year of amazing games. And I can't wait for. We're almost halfway through 2016, but the game release schedule is just starting. I mean, the cons are they're right around the corner, and all those amazing games for this year is going to start popping up all over the place. And we can't wait to see those.
Yep. Let's check them out.
See you next time.